Welcome to today's episode on The Intelligent Observer. The Petrodollar Hypothesis: Power, Conflict, and the Hidden Cost of Global Order. Part 1. Introduction. The question no one asks. For decades, we have been told a familiar story. When the United States intervenes abroad, it is said to be for democracy, for freedom, for human rights, for stability, for the global good. Sometimes these reasons are sincere, sometimes they are necessary, and sometimes they are undeniably real. But today we are not here to debate whether dictators exist, whether terrorism is real, or whether drugs destroy societies. Those facts are not in question. Instead, we are here to ask a different question. A quieter one, a more uncomfortable one. What if these reasons are not the root cause of conflict, but the surface justification? What if beneath the language of morality and security there exists a deeper system, one that quietly shapes incentives, rewards loyalty, punishes deviation, and determines which nations are protected and which are destabilized? This video explores a theory, not a conspiracy, not a certainty. A theory grounded in history, economics, and patterns of power. A theory that suggests many modern conflicts, from Iraq to Libya, from Venezuela to Gaza, may be connected not by ideology, but by money. Specifically, by the global dominance of the US dollar, and more precisely, by oil. Part 2, 1971. The moment everything changed. To understand the modern world, we must return to a single year, 1971. Until that point, the US dollar was tied to gold. Any country holding dollars could, at least in theory, exchange them for gold at a fixed rate. This system was called Bretton Woods. But as the US spent heavily on social programs, on Cold War competition, on the Vietnam War, it began printing more dollars than it had gold to back. Foreign governments noticed. Confidence began to crack. So in 1971, the United States made a historic decision. It ended the dollar's convertibility to gold. From that moment on, the dollar was no longer backed by metal. It was backed by trust. And trust alone is fragile. Without gold, the dollar needed a new anchor. Something every nation needed, something constantly in demand, something that could quietly replace gold as the foundation of global confidence. That replacement was oil. Part 3, the birth of the petrodollar system. In the years following 1971, the United States reached a critical understanding with major oil producers, beginning with Saudi Arabia. The deal was simple and profound. Oil would be priced in US dollars. Oil revenues would be recycled into US financial markets. And in return, the United States would provide security, weapons, and political backing. Other oil exporting nations followed. And just like that, a new system was born. Every country that needed oil, which is to say every industrial country, now needed dollars. This created permanent global demand for the US currency. The dollar no longer needed gold. It had oil. This system became known informally as the petrodollar system. And it granted the United States a power no empire in history had ever possessed. The ability to print the world's most necessary currency. Because oil is essential, the dollar became essential. This allowed the United States to run trade deficits indefinitely, to borrow at low interest rates, to finance massive military budgets, to project power globally without the immediate economic consequences other nations would face. When the US prints money, that money does not stay within its borders. It flows outward, into global trade, into foreign reserves, into commodities. In effect, inflation is exported. The costs are shared by the world, the benefits are concentrated. This is not a moral judgment, it is a structural reality. But every system creates incentives, and the petrodollar system creates one very powerful incentive. It must be protected. Now, let's examine a pattern. Iraq, Libya, Venezuela, Iran. Different cultures, different governments, different histories, but with overlapping traits. They possess oil. They resist US influence, and at critical moments, they attempt to move away from dollar-based oil trade. In 2000, Iraq began selling oil in euros. Libya proposed a gold-backed currency for African energy trade. Venezuela and Iran, under sanctions, shifted to yuan, gold, barter, and non-dollar settlements. Did these actions cause wars? Not directly, but they challenged something fundamental. They challenged the system, and when that happens, the response tends to escalate. Sanctions intensify, political pressure mounts, internal instability grows, and sometimes military force follows. Not because oil was stolen, but because precedent is dangerous. Part 6. Israel, not an oil state, but a system anchor. At this point, a question arises. If this is about oil and money, why does the United States so heavily support Israel? Israel is not an oil power. It does not challenge the dollar. And that is precisely why it matters. Israel functions as a strategic anchor in the Middle East. It is militarily dominant, technologically advanced, politically aligned, and deeply integrated with US security architecture. After the 1970s, when the dollar lost gold backing, US support for Israel intensified. Not coincidentally. Israel helps enforce regional deterrence. It counterbalances Iran. It reassures Gulf monarchies, and it signals that US power remains credible. The Gaza conflict, viewed through this lens, is not about oil. It is about credibility. If Israel weakens, the entire regional order trembles. And when the order trembles, so does confidence, in alliances, in security guarantees, and ultimately in the system that underpins global energy trade. Part 7. The cost to the rest of the world. There is a price for maintaining this system. When the US prints money to fund deficits, wars or crises, global prices rise. Fuel becomes more expensive. Food costs increase. Housing inflates. Currencies weaken. For many countries, this means tighter monetary policy, slower growth, and declining purchasing power. For ordinary people, it means life becomes more expensive, even when they had no say in the policies that caused it. This is the hidden tax of dollar dominance, a system that allows one country to live beyond its means by distributing the cost across the globe. Part 8. Is this a conspiracy or a structure? This theory does not claim that the United States acts with a single secret motive. There is no room full of villains plotting currency domination. Instead, there is something more powerful and more ordinary. Incentives. Systems reward certain behaviors. They punish others. Over time, institutions adapt to preserve what benefits them. The petrodollar system rewards intervention, rewards enforcement, rewards stability on American terms. And when morality aligns with power, action follows. When it does not, silence often prevails. Part 9. The future. Can this system last? Today, cracks are forming. Oil is increasingly traded in other currencies. China and Russia push alternatives. BRICS discuss new frameworks. The dollar still dominates, but not uncontested. The question is not whether the system will change. The question is how violently it will resist change. History suggests that systems backed by power rarely dissolve peacefully. Part 10. Conclusion. A question, not an answer. This video does not tell you what to believe. it asks you what to notice. Patterns, incentives, outcomes. Perhaps the United States intervenes purely for moral reasons. Perhaps oil and money are secondary. Or perhaps, as history often shows, power speaks the language of ideals while acting in defense of structure. The petrodollar may not explain everything, but it explains enough that it deserves serious consideration. And the next time a conflict is framed as necessary, inevitable, or righteous, it may be worth asking, who benefits, who pays, and what system is being protected?